everybody, welcome to my review for Ninjago Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu Episode 5, The Adventures of Clutch Powers. No, wait, that's the movie. Never mind. No, the episode is Boobytraps and How to Survive Them. Yes, I know that is a mouthful to say, but that is the title of the episode. It is, how should I say, just a massive mouthful to say. And some of these titles are just, in Ninjago, are just either too forced, as in of a title, that, or doesn't roll off the tongue, or in this case, all of the above. It's a mouthful, which this is a mouthful to say. Like, I'm not saying it again. But anyway, that's Ninjago. This is Ninjago episode 5 review, and I gotta say, it was actually a lot better than the previous episodes. And the interesting about this episode and episode 6, which remember the episodes are 10 minutes long and they work side by side, is the first 4 episodes are basically like 2 episodes directly after each other. This one and the next one, which I'll get to next review, episode 6 review after this, but it is kind of different. They're kind of side by side with each other. Take place at the same time, but they're in 2 different parts of Ninjago, which is basically, as they said, basically was confirmed. That's what they wanted to do, which begs the question: why didn't they do that for the first 4 episodes? I mean, they should have just made the first 4 episodes 2 episodes, 22 minutes, and then started here, because this is the point where it starts the thing. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future episodes, but whether they go back to the original 4 or not, we'll find out. But anyway, moving on. The episode starts off at the pyramid, the snake pyramid, the Egyptian pyramid, that Clutch Powers had found recently, and the ninjas obviously in the campsite with Clutch Powers, saying they want to go explore the temple, and they need his help because he's an explorer, and he's kind of refusing. He's actually not thrilled on going into the temple. I guess he's done it so often. I mean, I don't like this because Clutch Powers in the movie, I mean, I know this is not the movie Clutch Powers, like people keep saying. This is different. Before it was just an Easter egg. Nowadays, if you're seeing it, it's still not going to be the exact version's movie, because the movie is a completely different theme to Ninjago, but they could have kept some of his characteristics in this, and it doesn't feel like too many of his characteristics. There's still a few, and he still shows some moments where he's got those characteristics, but this part doesn't feel like he's got those characteristics of being an adventurer. However, according with the Ninjago lore, he has been an adventurer for a long time, so maybe he's just, a little bit more relaxed and try, in retirement mode, wanting to be retired someday. Maybe that's why. I mean, he has explored many temples. I mean, so unless of course he didn't explore them and he's a liar, which I really hope they don't do that, because I don't want them to ruin Clutch Powers. But anyway, that's basically what happens. Eventually, though, he does get a phone call from, I think it was the Explorer Society thing. And, the Explorer Club, they're basically going to cancel his thing because he hasn't, thing. As you can see there, he's also holding an iPhone, Samsung. And it's just kind of a mix between an iPhone, one of the older iPhones, with the thing on top, and a Samsung or a Galaxy or something. But anyway, let's not talk about the Lego phone. You can see he's got an assistant, which kind of looks like it's a spoof of someone from the movie, but I can't quite remember the name of. I would have to literally go back and watch the Clutch Powers movie. I have it, but haven't seen it in a long time. So, but he gets a phone call from the Adventure Society. They're basically going to cancel his thing, saying he hasn't explored it in a long time, and this they say they're not the Discovery Club, even though he discovered the temple. They're not the Discovery Club. They're the Explorer Club, which, by the way, that joke is kind of a mature joke, or kind of an old joke, because Discovery Club is a thing that whole. Well, I'm not gonna get it. That he gets prompted to help the ninjas explore the temple. Finally, so they were all excited about that. He gets ready. Opens his chest, gets his stuff, he gets his amulet thing, which is apparently meant to protect him, but more to that later. He gets his torches, and then basically pulls off and does it like he's all cool and tries to look all cool, which he does, but his characteristics have kind of diminished that a little bit. Then they prepare to enter the temple, which they do. The Egyptian temple. They open the tomb and they hop inside. So that's basically, the first part of the episode, and it was awesome and fun to watch, but it was, just like, really? Clutch powers? Like, you're really going to ruin Clutch powers like that for me? I mean, I know he's not the movie version, but you can still keep some of his characteristics, and his origin can't be the same, but his characteristics, anyway, basically... That's one of the major problems I had at the time, but anyway, moving on. So they enter the temple and they, obviously run into Boobytraps and a rickety bridge. So obviously they get across the bridge by basically doing what you shouldn't do on a rickety bridge, and that's basically run over it real fast. You shouldn't do that. You should be extra careful because that rickety bridge can break at any time. I'm surprised it didn't. So, next part after that, they arrive at the next booby trap, which is a spider web kind of trap, which they do avoid easily, obviously. Cospass tells them not to step on it because it will spring a trap. But Jay seems to not listen. Anyway, so they end up sliding down the stairs, which turn into sliding with the spikes, which are at the bottom, which they end up almost falling onto. Thankfully for them, though, they have Guy to burn the spikes. This part was kind of weird. Again, his hands look like lava, not fire, even though he's got fire, but it looks like lava. I mean, look at it. It looks so weird for fire, but I guess, new animation, so... he ends up breaking the spikes. They don't get a thing, although there were still some spikes that were kind of pointy and still some hard rocks, so I'm surprised that they didn't get more injured and or they didn't get scrapes of the spikes, like someone didn't get their leg caught on a spike. They would have lived, but they surprised that someone didn't get, because there's still some spikes there. So it's like, really? No one got hurt by the spikes at all. So anyway, that's that, and they end up surviving, although this guy didn't. This guy really didn't make it. He didn't get the point of the booby trap. So pun intended. That's pretty much what happened with the spike guy. And as you can see here, it's a class power book. So one thing is the book kind of is meant to help you explore temples. Although you should never explore temples without a professional, because, well, this. But he obviously didn't get to the chapter about spikes because, well, he didn't make it. So anyway, moving on from there, the ninjas arrive. I'm guessing I wouldn't say the very center of the pyramid. It could be, the pyramids are usually bigger than that. So we arrive at a puzzle room with a classic puzzle, which is one of those classic puzzles. If you can rearrange the puzzles in your mind, you can clearly see it's a snake. So, it's Aspheera, although she's a different color than she should be, unless of course she's in the trailer, in which case Jay ends up going over to do the puzzle, saying, oh, he's great at puzzles. Zane walks over to the hieroglyphics.
What does that mean?
What it says is, you know what? I can't remember exactly, so I'm just going to let Zane do this one.
Beware ye who enter the serpent's tomb, for her anger nearly did consume all Ninjago, until a foolish boy with a staff of power her evil did destroy.
Thanks, Zane. Thanks for explaining that. I really, it was a nice to hear. So, as you heard, that was basically what the hieroglyphic said, so they just explained it for you. So then, obviously, he after reading it, he gets another vision of, Aspheera and, the usual visions, although this one didn't have any ice symbol in it. And in doing that, he realizes that this is the temple that has her in it, and basically tells Jay and Nia not to complete the puzzle, but it's a little late because Jay just finished the puzzle, and yeah. So, there we go. That's Aspheera. That's the puzzle complete, and Aspheera is going to be released. Now, I have some things about this, but first, let's move on to the puzzle. With this puzzle, as you can see from here, Aspheera is obviously in her form that she comes in the trailer before she absorbs Kai's power, which is a spoiler, but at the same time it was in the trailer, and from the trailer, I know a lot of people knew it was Kai straight away. Some people were wondering who it was, but I mean, most people realized who it was. So this is what color she is, so blue color, but she does have her fire things there, and like fire behind her, which symbolizes obviously she was a fire snake before, but at the same time it doesn't make sense in some ways because so maybe it's actually just a sorcery or something, but it's a little weird, the puzzle. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that because of reasons. So anyway, after the they released Aspheera, which is right here. She's in a form which I'm going to say she looks better in this form than she does in her fire form, mainly because she looks more sleek, like a snake. So she looks more sleek and cool looking. Granted, she is kind of bluish, blackish kind of way, so I mean it kind of makes sense that she'd be cool. The ninjas obviously try and talk to her. She basically wants to know where the deceiver is, which we all thought it was Garmadon, but apparently it isn't. From recent descriptions that was released a while back, it seems it's going to be Wu. However, descriptions can be wrong sometimes. Just a little tip, it has been wrong in Ninjago before. So maybe the description is wrong. At the same time, it's a nice little twist, being Wu. I kind of, before I saw the description or saw anyone talk about the description, I kind of said something on someone's Twitter post about how Aspheera, it may be Wu, not Garmadon, or both. It could be both. We don't know. It may not be Wu, maybe both. She's only mentioning one person, but maybe she sees it as one person, but it could. Anyway, there's a lot of possibilities. But at the same time, if it is Wu, that makes less chance that Garmadon may return in this season, which a lot of people want him to return. So, anyway, that's basically that. So she basically does that. They basically try and talk to her, but she doesn't really want to listen. She just wants to. She only wants to hear what she wants to hear. Otherwise, she's going to attack them. So as usual, ninjas fight back, and Clutch ends up running away. Kind of in this moment, you can interpret it however you want. It looks like he's running away in terms of being a coward, which would be less awesome. But at the same time, he's just an explorer. He's not really a fighter in this. In Clutch Powers, he is different there, so that part I can get over. He's just an adventurer, so maybe fighting against an all-powerful sorceress snake probably knows better moves. He's not a ninja, so probably best to retreat, get help, and which he does do. But I'll get to that later. But so he does retreat after the fight with the ninjas losing, at least. With the ninjas losing, Aspheera looks at Kai and his firepower and is intrigued, and basically, as we know, absorbs his power. It is definitely him. We also saw that coming. It kind of made sense since it's fire. It was pretty obvious. Now, at this point, that actually looks like fire and not lava, thankfully. So, that's good. Now, obviously she drains his power. The ninjas try and stop her. And this is a point that is a major spoiler. So quickly, jump over at least a minute so you don't see this. Basically, Aspheera knows Spinjitzu. Yeah, that's right. She knows Spinjitzu. It's like a thing, which is a pinkish, purplish thing. A lot of people thought, oh, it's like Gumdown. She learned it from Gumdown. Well, technically she didn't, according to the description. And also, and even if she did, it doesn't look like Gumdown Spinjitzu, people. I don't know why people thought it looked like Gumdown Spinjitzu is like a blackish purple, like a darkness shadow. Hers is pinkish purple, so very light color. So it's very different. It's not the same. But the thing about her, she can use Spinjitzu. Why absorbing Kai's fire? That's pretty boss. So anyway, that's that. It was actually interesting to see her sing. That makes the new she's the first snake to ever be able to use Spinjitzu. Even Pythor couldn't do that. So after she knocks down the ninjas with her Spinjitzu, they're basically surprised you can use Spinjitzu, and I think a lot of people were in some way. She ends up absorbing Kai's power, changing to gold, and with a fire, which, again, I liked her other look better. It was more sleek. Now she looks fat.
Okay, that's getting a tad personal.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's a woman. I better not say that. I'm sorry, Aspheera. Please don't take revenge on me.
Revenge!
I said no revenge, okay? I'm sorry. I said sorry. She holds a grudge. So anyway, Aspheera obviously gets all gold, which is the color of snakes. Now, I will say, though, one thing I like, apart from her original form being more sleek, is in the series she looks way more detailed than the sets. Like when you look at her minifigure, if you look at her minifigure, it's so bland and like doesn't look as good as her in the actual show. Her in the show, like the detail on these new snakes is just amazingly good. Like people say the animation's terrible, but I mean it's not. Okay, it's different because it's more bright, happy, and it's more detailed, and it is more detailed. The ninjas have outfits actually look like fabric. The snakes look like actual, like they look detailed with the scales and everything. So it actually looks awesome. Unfortunately, the sets don't look the same, but then again, they're sets, so you got to deal with them. So anyway, after she absorbs the firepower, because she thanks the Elemental Masters, which also the fact that she calls them Elemental Masters means she does know the original Elemental Masters, which means their parents, because, well, how would you know they're Elemental Masters? In a way, like that they're called Elemental Masters. Anyway, basically, she thanks them and gives them a gift, and that gift is being stuck in the temple while she escapes. A little, eye for an eye thing, even though they did nothing to her. Anyway, so, she basically does that. She leaves because, well, she's been in that temple for several years. I mean, I would want to get out of there too. Especially in that dank cube-like room, I mean. So, she leaves. We go outside. We get outside with Clutch Powers, who escaped. And then, obviously, he goes to, tries to quickly get out thing, but Aspheera ends up behind him and surprises him. She just stands above him. Wow, she's menacing. She asks him basically, where the closest village is, but he basically says the closest place is Ninjago City. Which obviously Ninjago City didn't exist back when she was first around, because she didn't know she really didn't know what Ninjago City is. In fact, she's so illiterate that she doesn't. I won't say that until the next part, till episode 8, because that doesn't happen until episode 8. She then tells him to basically take her to Ninjago City. He basically refuses, pointing that at him, pointing the amulet thing at her, which is supposed to protect him, but he's not entirely sure. He bought it off someone, and he's just hoping that guy wasn't lying to him, which he could have been. So he basically leaves, still unsure if it does work, although it might, looking at how the episode continues on, but who knows. She then casts a spell which causes this, which happened in the trailer, the pyramid to erupt. That's basically lava, and with that happening, you see all the lava basically go everywhere, Cloud's powers being shot everywhere. I'm going to go with the emblem as what made the thing shoot out without him being touched by the lava, basically protecting him. Because just so I know, the emblem protects people, but it doesn't say how it protects people. It just says that it's meant to protect you. It never said how it protects you, so it could protect him in many, many different ways. Then Aspheera gets on a giant snake thing, Fire Fang, I think that's what's called in the sets. I don't know whether that giant snake has a mind of its own, or it's just like devour, or just a pet, or maybe it's her husband. I mean, her husband, we don't know how the snake things work. And then she basically prepares to head to Ninjago City with no other soldiers in her army. It's interesting because all the other soldiers are still actually trapped in the pyramid, which we'll get to in, I think, the episode 7. But anyway, that does it for my overview. I will say this right now. With this episode with Aspheera, I personally really like Aspheera as a villain. She's obviously not the top villain, but she's definitely above Humi. Yes, Humi was an awesome villain, awesome female villain. She was actually the first though, so we didn't really have much competition. Okay, and that's the thing. So that's why she was seen the best. Now, still people still say she's the best. You're entitled to your opinion. I have no doubt about that. I personally think she wasn't the best. She was just the first. Aspheera, I didn't think they could top her, but in my mind they have topped her at this point, at least with what we've seen from Aspheera for the first 8 episodes. We still got to see, the rest of her story and how her story ends, or how the fire chapter ends. Depending on that, depends on how she will end up in my eyes, because characters can change even after the season and continue on to future seasons. Characters change and rearrange for me all the time. Like, I'm not someone who sticks with their ranking. Some people have a ranking and it stays the same all the time, like no matter what, and it's just like, but it's not true, because all characters have flaws, just like all people have flaws, everything, and they have their good moments. So it's like, even Garmdown has these flaws, especially this season 8 to 10. I mean, it's kind of bad, but not as good as Pilot. But anyway, that's basically, episode 5. Make sure you like and subscribe, and check back later today or tomorrow for episode 6, which is basically the episode that came straight after this. But anyway, see ya. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.